The Nintendo 3DS is an incredible console that has many features, games, and personality that I wish the Nintendo Switch had. It even came with pre-installed games, themes, and StreetPass, which is amazing. I'll start by going over how the 3D screen works. The 3D on the 3DS works by using a parallax barrier. The parallax barrier has slits in it to let some of the light from the screen go into one of your eyes, while letting all the light go into your other eye. This is done for each eye and allows for two images to be displayed at the same time. Since you need two eyes to perceive depth, each eye has to see the image at a slightly different angle to see the 3D effect. This means games have to render two images at the same time with different angles for the 3D effect to work. The 3DS does this by rendering two images at 240p for each eye. 240p is a pretty low resolution, but it doesn't look as bad as it looks on a TV or monitor since the 3DS's screen is pretty small and is 100 ppi or 100 pixels per inch, which is decent. So whenever you move the 3D slider, it just changes how far away the images are displayed from each other. How far away the images have to be displayed to see 3D varies from person to person. Now that you know how the 3D works, let's go over the setup. When you first turn on your 3DS, this music starts to play. It isn't used anywhere else on the system. It's a common version of the settings music without the melody. Here's a comparison. The setup is slightly different for every 3DS model, since some of them have extra features like stable 3D, or just don't have that many features, like the 2DS. The first thing you do is select a language. You then test the 3D screen. It tells you how far away you have to be to view the image. Then a timer starts, and the 3DS logo starts moving in and out. If you were looking at it on a 3DS, it looks like it's moving out and behind the screen. I can't show it on video since you can't display it unless you have a stereoscopic 3D screen or an 8K TV. The rest of the setup is similar to the DSi. You put in the time, date, username, birthday, region. You then set up your internet connection, which has its own music. After that, you can add parental controls if you're a parent. Then it tells you to press the home button to go to the menu. When on the 3DS menu, it shows you that the theme shop is now open. Themes were added on October 7th, 2014, with version 9.0.0-20. The theme shop is amazing and has a lot of options to choose from, and even has its own shopping music. I really like that almost everything on the 3DS has its own theme and style. There were many different themes you could get from many different game series. You had to buy some of the themes. There were also badges you were able to get from Nintendo Badge Arcade. It was pretty much an arcade machine where you try to win a prize. There's a ton of them. You got a few free turns a day, but you had to pay to get more. The badges are able to be placed on the home menu, and you can make designs on your home menu with them. All the data for the themes is stored on the SD card. So when the SD card is out of the 3DS, you get the regular menu. There were also different colors of the regular menu that you can choose from, kinda like how you can pick an accent color on the DSi. All your applications appear on the menu. You can also make folders to organize them. When you hover over anything on the menu, the banner appears on the top screen and looks 3D. If you blow into your microphone, it spins the icons around and you can see hidden stuff on the back of them. Whenever you got a new game from the eShop, it would appear as a present icon, and you had to open it to see what's inside. You can also adjust how many icons you see with the buttons on the top right. You can have a total of 300 icons on the menu, or badges if you're decorating the menu. You might be able to go over 300 icons from a recent update, but I'm not sure. There's also a lot of obscure facts about the menu. There are some unused icons in the files for the menu. Most of these files are from 3DS Menu 1.0. The first one is an early version of the DSi banner. It looks more like a CRT TV and is brighter than the final one. There's 2 early versions of the present icon in the files. It's less colorful and doesn't have a text label like the final. There's both a red and blue variant of it. The blue one might have been intended for StreetPass since it's named Boss in the files. Boss is the codename for StreetPass, and Target is the codename for the eShop, which is what the red present icon is called in the files. There are also unused sounds in the files. The first one is for the present icon. It's longer than the final sound. There's also 2 unused sounds for new software appearing. They might have been intended for the 2 present icons. There's one more unused sound, and it's for getting a notification. That's everything that was unused, but there's also a lot of hidden combinations you can use, similar to the DS. If your system isn't set up, and you have a 3DS game in, if you press A, B, X, Y, R, you can boot the game bypassing the setup, home screen, and software updates on the card. The console is still region locked, so you can't play out of region games in this mode. This mode also has weird effects with games, with some games giving you a black screen when you try to save. If you press the home button, the system will turn off. If you put a new 3DS game into an old 3DS, then do this combination to start it, the system will crash. If your 3DS is set up, if you hold L, R, X while it's booting, it will show the touchscreen calibration screen. You can also press L or Y while it's starting to show the circle pad calibration screen. If you press L or B down while it's starting up, a message will appear asking if you want to delete the home menu management data. This will reset the home screen layout. The most obscure combination is pressing Start Select X and the power button while it's turned off and the lid is closed. You can use a magnet to make it detect that it's closed. When you press the power button, it'll try to execute firmware from the cartridge you have in it. This won't work on a normal DS cartridge since they don't have firmware. Due to there being flaws in the signature check that checks the firmware the system is loading, if you have a custom DS flash card, you can use it to fix a brick system or install custom firmware on it. There was also removed content. When version 1.1.0-1 released, it came with 3 promotional videos all in 3D, but they were removed with version 2.0.0-2. There's apparently an unused feature for joining someone's game that asks you which version you want to play. Since there's no official way to get a game from 2 regions, this feature is unused. Unit info is a register used by the 3DS to decide if it's a development console. 0 is for retail, while a number above 0 is used for development consoles. It goes 1 through 3 for different types of development consoles: developer, debug, and firm. When a number higher than 0 is used on a retail console, it stops most non-development applications from opening, including games. It also gives you a more detailed error screen, and the eShop doesn't work. Amiibo functionality is also disabled. There's no documented reason why this happens. There's also different revisions and versions of the menu. There's no known early development versions of the 3DS menu. The only thing found was developer applications, which is weird, since the Wii, DS, Wii U, and even the Nintendo Switch has an early menu design that was found. 3DS menu 1.0 is a lot different from the final version. When you press the power button to turn off your 3DS, you have the option to enter sleep mode, which doesn't make a lot of sense since you could just close it to enter sleep mode. After it's enabled, it says it's active and that you can close the lid. It also shows a tip on the top screen saying you can close the lid at any time to enter sleep mode. This was removed in later versions of the menu since you can just close your 3DS to enter sleep mode instead of selecting the option when turning off your 3DS. The internet browser icon is just a placeholder. It says it will be enabled in a future system update. The top of the bottom screen has the icon set up differently. It was updated for Miiverse, then later for themes. Other regions have the new features, but with the old design. Korea has the new menu, but without the Miiverse icon. China has the old menu design, despite being on a high firmware version. Taiwan added an Amiibo icon on the top. The Amiibo settings only shows the option to update the NFC reader/writer on the old 3DS. The new 3DS gives you the option to system transfer when setting it up. That's all the differences if you don't count the different keyboard layouts. Overall, there were a lot of changes. I can't talk about the 3DS without going over StreetPass. StreetPass allows your 3DS to send data to other 3DSs around you. When you get a StreetPass, the light on the 3DS pauses green. A lot of games supported it. It allowed you to get items and a lot of other stuff in the games. For New Super Mario Bros. 2, it was used for Coin Rush and had you compete with other people's scores. That's everything I'll go over about the 3DS. I plan on making another video that goes over the applications in more detail, and also separate videos going over StreetPass Meat Plaza. Goodbye and have an incredible day!